this shit thumping. If I'm a op, well, I ain't dead, cause you ain't had honey. Stop the beat.
What's good, everybody? What's good? It's your boy, Cardinal Bud Crawford. And we're back for another one. Alright, new topic, y'all. New topic. Let's get this done real fast. Cash out fights. Is Spence versus Crawford a done deal? A lot of reports going on right now that the Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford fight is a done deal. And that the contracts have been signed and they're just waiting to announce the fight. But for me, I'm like this. I don't think that the fight is a done deal until it's officially announced. Until it's officially announced, Showtime says something about it, Fox Sports says something about it. You know, the two fighters come out and give their take on how they feel the fight's going to turn out. So I'm not sold on the fact that it's a done deal just yet. But there are reports that it is a done deal and the contracts have been signed. Now, does that mean that the fight is about to take place? It doesn't mean that the fight is about to take place yet just because people are reporting on it. Like I said, until something is officially announced, this fight is not a done deal yet. Me personally, I still don't think it's going to happen this year. It could, but the whole time, the hold up for this fight has always been the money. Terence Crawford wanting a lucrative split of the money. Terence Crawford wanting to make sure if this is his cash out fight, which it could possibly be, because subscriber of mine, longtime subscriber, Miss Kelly Brown, she sent me a message yesterday. She was like, Terence Crawford has been doing this because he knows that this fight is his cash out fight. This fight could possibly be the last fight of his career. If Terence Crawford was to lose this fight, oh boy. What does Terence Crawford do at that point if he loses this fight? I would look at it like this. If Terence Crawford was to lose this fight, there are three options for him. He can rematch, and depending on how bad he got beat, it might not be a good idea to rematch. You know, he could move up to 154, but if you got beat the F up by Errol Spence, you know, who was a big welterweight, what do you think these 154 fighters are going to do to you? Or he could go back down in weight. He could go to 140, 135, maybe 130 if he felt like it. And he could campaign down there where I think he would have more success than he would trying to move up in weight or even trying to hang around 147. Because if he gets beat by Spence, Jerron Ennis is going to murder this man. Virgil Ortiz might knock him out of the ring. And the problem is for him is he's going to have to end up facing one of those two fighters, or maybe even both of them. You know, maybe even because if he was to lose to Spence, a Thurman fight means nothing at that point. What is he gonna do? Go rematch Shawn Porter? Go fight Mikey Garcia? Go try to fight Danny Garcia or something? You know, the rest of those they really don't make no sense at that point. The only two fights that would make sense at that point would be him matching up against the up and coming 147 fighters who are going to be now ranked very high in the rankings for those belts. You know, Jerron Ennis is actually the next up for, I think, Errol Spence's IBF belt. So this is the reason that I keep saying that I don't think that this fight's a done deal yet, because there are mandatories still hanging around for Errol Spence. If those sanctioning bodies decide to pull the rabbit out of the hat and force him to face up with one of his mandatories that he's been avoiding for the past few years. Everybody keeps saying he's avoiding Terence Crawford, but there are mandatory fights that he's actually been avoiding to take on the other fighters. Not to say those mandatory fights are harder fights than him fighting Ugas or him trying to fight Pacquiao or him trying to fight Errol Spence. It's just there are he has 3 belts at this point, so there are 3 mandatory sitting out there waiting on Errol Spence to give them a shot. So it's not just Terence Crawford who's been getting put to the side. There are other fighters who've been getting put to the side, and Errol Spence has been trying to elevate Terence Crawford into a position to give him that shot, and Terence Crawford is the one who keeps turning it down. So in my mind, that lets me know, Terence Crawford either really doesn't want to risk it because he's 35 years old. If he loses his belt. He loses a lot of credibility when it comes to his fan base. What does he do at that point? At that point, does it become a cash out fight for him? Does he just retire after he loses to Errol Spence? Or does he say, you know what, I'm going to go back down to 130. I could fight a Devin Haney. I could fight a George Kambosos. Possibly could get a fight with Lomachenko. Maybe I take on Josh Taylor. There are 3 or 4 fights that he could make down to 135, 140 that would be lucrative fights for him. And then there are, like I said, the Jerron Ennis's of the world, the Virgil Ortiz's of the world. There's another name. What is dude's name? I can't never remember his name, but Captain Full G was bringing him up a lot because he was in that tournament that was put together that was supposed to have, I think, Ugaz in it, and then the winner was supposed to fight Errol Spence. Was supposed to get a title shot at Errol Spence, and that all got put to the side when they announced the Pacquiao fight, and then it got pushed out even further when he decided to fight Ugaz instead of Manny, and because of the whole situation with his eye and everything, and Manny Pacquiao not being able to fight him, and then Manny Pacquiao lost to Ugaz, so he got kind of pushed to the side. But at this point, what options does Terence Crawford have other than this cash out fight? And is this fight finally a done deal? If he loses, oh boy, if he loses. That's going to be a lot of egg on a lot of people's face if he loses. Not only just Terence Crawford, but his fan base have staked so much claim in the fact that he's going to beat Errol Spence Jr. And there's no doubt in their mind he's going to beat Errol Spence Jr. And there's no doubt in their mind that he's going to be the welterweight unified champion of the world. Now, me personally, I think it's a long shot for him to win that fight. Everything has to go right for him. And people think I'm against Terence Crawford. I don't like the guy personality-wise. And this lets me know that people don't actually watch my videos all the way through. Because if they watch my videos all the way through, they would hear me say I like his personality more than I like Errol Spence's personality. He's the guy I could go hang out with on a day-to-day basis based off his hobbies and the things he likes to do more than Errol Spence. Now, if I'm going hooding or I'm going clubbing, I'm rolling with Errol Spence because he wants the shiz. He wants the drama, you know what I'm saying? So you want to keep somebody like that around you when you put in yourself in situations to where there may be some jealousy or drama, because hood people are very jealous, and drunk club goers are extremely jealous when you got more than what they got, or you come in and you take their B from them. Becomes a jealousy situation at that point. So if people watch my videos all the way through, they would realize that I like Terence Crawford's personality. I don't think he can win that fight based off the fact that he doesn't have the backing of Bob Arum anymore. It is a situation of Fox is going to be controlling Fox. PBC and Fox Sports and Errol Spence are going to be controlling how the fight comes about, who the ref is, who the judges are, where the venue's going to be set at. It's almost like a Floyd Mayweather situation, where Floyd Mayweather got to pick everything that was going on during his fights, who the testing was for the drug testing, who the referee was, who the judges were, or the venues were going to be set. When everything is set against you, it's extremely hard to win those fights. Even Pacquiao couldn't overcome those odds. So for a guy like Terence Crawford, who doesn't even have the backing of a promoter anymore. And, you know, I know a lot of people hate Bob Arum, but Bob Arum wants money. He likes money. So 9 times out of 10, he's going to try to put his fighter in position to win. And, you know, Terence Crawford doesn't have that backing anymore. So he's going into a lose-lose situation. It might not be that he doesn't have the talent to win. It might be that he doesn't have the situation to win that fight. And that's why I'm calling it a cash-out fight at this point. I think Terence Crawford has held out for this long to get as much money out of this fight as he possibly can. Now, when it comes to the money, that's all based off the people putting on the fight. If they feel like, well, we're gonna make X amount of dollars off of this fight, and we can afford to pay Terence Crawford $10 or $15 million for that fight, and he wants 20, but they can only afford to pay him 10 or 15. You know, this is just a ball that's going to continually roll down the hill, because they have to pay Errol Spence somewhere around 20, 25, maybe even 30 million, because he's the revenue generator in the fight. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. What does Terence Crawford decide to? Does he decide to just sign the contract, take maybe $5-10 million, because Bob Arum was guaranteeing him 5, so he's a little spoiled already at this point. So you know he's going to want at least 5 off top, and then another 5 on top of that. So at least he's going to want somewhere around 10 to 15 for this fight, maybe even 20. And that might be what's holding all of this up, is that he wants another 5 to hit that 20 mark to make it the biggest payday of his life. I don't know, man. To me, it's a cash-out fight. He's probably most likely going to lose. Errol Spence most likely going to be the welterweight unified champion of the world, undisputed unified champion of the world. And Terence Crawford is more than likely either he's going to retire, he's going to go back down in weight, or he's going to try his hand with some bigger fighters, which I think is a huge mistake, similar to what Roy Jones made, trying to go up and challenge those bigger guys, and he ended up getting knocked out several times and possibly injuring himself for life, you know. And I would hate for that to happen for Terence Crawford, but to each his own. And you know, I think he should just sign the contract and try to get it over with, man. The longer he drags this out, the older he gets, and I think the worse the negotiation process is going to get for him, because he's never going to get the price he wants. He can only get what he can get, what these people are willing to pay him. Is it a done deal yet? No, it's not. Is this a cash-out fight for Terence Crawford? I believe so. It's your boy Cardinal Red, man. Cardinal Red on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Hit me up. I think we are there.
Ain't want it, just got tired of toting the glitz. That nigga trip. Stay the fuck up out